Everyone good? Contention when the status quo versus the Pentagon is taking steps to move the military to alternative fuels, but the effort is not enough. Steve Vogel, Washington Post, 4/13/09. The Pentagon has launched initiatives to define alternative fuel sources. The Pentagon has used $300 million to receive the economic stimulus packages to accelerate resistance priorities for development alternative fuels and safe entry. In the overall scheme of stimulus, it sounds small. Specifically, oil dependence is making the U.S. Coast Guard vulnerable to fluctuations in oil prices, thus severely hindering its readiness and operations. James T. Hurley, U.S. Coast Guard report, September 02. The Coast Guard is very dependent on fuel oil for day-to-day operations. During periods of volatility in the oil market, this high dependency is adversely impacted Coast Guard readiness and operations. Cutter schedules were affected. Direct result of fuel budget overruns. Less efforts taken to address overall energy consumption efficiency. There's no certainty the Coast Guard can report future fuel costs. However, something must be done soon. Oil shocks come now. All experts agree. Energy short being 11/26/08. The price of fuel, this fuel is plummeted. The curious question appears obvious. Will demand destruction take the peak at a peak oil? The price of $50 oil looms up because in this rate, it's some of the best on the energy business. And since the latest bear market's only been in the trap for a huge price run, like you come around 2015, the sharp sales of the oil business world, the good is the peak oil is coming. And the available company its rival will be severe. Global liquid example will peak about 2050, more than 100 million barrels per day. Non-event production back in this year. The problem that new discoveries are not keeping pace with demand. These countries like China, India, others with their economies demand national oil industry's ability to find new reserves to find that supply. The peak non-OPEC production means that the future production must come from OPEC members. That's the problem. Other major OPEC members, big resources, all the political constraints will limit their ability to add large increments in new production. Contention to the ocean. 7.8 overfishing. For us, overfishing is harder, better, faster, stronger. Under judgment issue leads to a loss of marine ecosystem species. United Nations in 09. The magnitude of the problem of overfishing is often overlooked. Given competing times in the last decade, commercial fish populations have caused fall by as much as 95% of 70% of the world's fish species are fully exploited to believe the dramatic increase in destructive fishing techniques worldwide. Short spring animals entire ecosystem. Legal and unreported unregulated fishing world around peace increase in fishermen seek to avoid strict rules in many places. And loss of ocean ecosystems risks countless human deaths. Coin and hoax of the new Robin 07. Ocean is the most vulnerable areas all over as overfishing eliminates final place. The quantity of food web can allow for both sides. Fish on which so many humans depend upon every half of the oxygen we breathe is made by phytoplankton. Extinction is almost apparently a coral reefs. Fish promises to provide tremendous amounts of food for human populations. Rough coastlines against erosion. Life, as we know, would be impossible for ecosystems collapse. Sub 1B, magical horseshoe crabs. First overfishing is destroying horseshoe crabs. International Unit for Conservation Nature, 4/23/08. There are 4 species of horseshoe crabs because only around 10 alpha spring survives out of the 90,000 eggs produced by female that are highly sensitive to overfishing. And horseshoe crabs are a keystone species, magnifies our ecosystem loss scenario. Christian Science Monitor 60508. Continuing to take 500,000 of them from the real life for the regions water the years hardly good for the species and the animals that depend upon it. The crab is a keystone species, everything from minnows to shark, feed on its eggs, rockfish, flounder, and turtles. Furthermore, horseshoe crabs are key to vaccines preventing diseases and the blood prevents any contamination of needles living on Earth. 62708. Horseshoe crabs, the FDA's gold standard to test the presence of bacterial contamination of vaccine supply. We rely upon the blood of the horseshoe crab to detect the presence of so-called gram-negative bacteria that may contaminate the vaccine supply. Without it, we would really have an incredible beach of public health potentially. And ignoring the potential threat for diseases puts people in every nation at risk for deaths. Well, let's get Al 03, Director of the Global Health Security Initiative. Infectious diseases today ignore geographical political boundaries. There's not constant global threat that puts every nation, every person at risk. Any number of factors create environmental loss, infectious diseases to emerge from root of society. In just 2 decades, the world's witnessed widespread devastation due to HIV. And the Coast Guard is key to agency to protect overfishing. 6/15/05, official congressional testimony. The Coast Guard is the only agency with the authority and protecting the assets able to federal law enforcement presence to prevent overfishing. In 2004, the Coast Guard board over 4,500 fish vessels observed compliance rates of 96.3%. And reception continues to be significant return to illegal fishing and locations within which the Coast Guard can protect repeated crabs. Against an executive note, no day given. Adult horseshoe crabs are benthic animals that habitat both shallow estuarine areas and offshore habitats near the continental shelf. Raised horseshoe crab extends from northern Maine to the Yucatan Peninsula. The appropriate population of horseshoe crabs are thought to inhabit every major estuary along the Atlantic coast. Contention 3, human trafficking. International current efforts to stop human trafficking are failing. It's Center for International Policy 2/17/05. Budget shortfalls on certain department priorities. Selected government's global resource markets and even the top safety priorities, human trafficking. And the Coast Guard stops human trafficking. Hoffman, U.S. Department of Justice 09. Increased border inspection and monitoring with an emphasis on trafficking can be helpful. The U.S. government has several agencies that monitor the borders. These agencies include the Coast Guard. These agencies operate closely to reduce the number of undocumented persons entering the United States. The United States is making efforts to secure its borders and to implement policies to screen people entering and exiting the country to determine whether they may be trafficking victims. And human trafficking is the dehumanizing equivalent to modern-day slavery. Should be rejected whenever possible. Bahar Asni, Central Hall 02. Slave trafficking was transported to 50,000 persons here in the United States. Centers to reduce humans to commodities, dehumanize conditions, victim servitude as well. Total dominion exercised over them by their bosses. Transformation which contributed to the conversion of many thousands of humans into civil commodities. The enterprises are highly motivated by the low costs associated with trading humans. Human become violent, profitable, lowest acceptable, and reasonable commodities. Workers are required to exist in hours without time off for medical care, for performing all household chores, taking care of children at the time of sex trade workers, performing sexual services, the critical attribute of slavery, its power relation, domination, degradation, and subservience, in which human beings are treated as chattel, not persons. Thus, the plan: the United States federal government should substantially increase subsidies for the use of used cooking oil and fuel for the United States Coast Guard. Contention for solvency: waste vegetable cooking oil can offset 1% total use oil consumption for about 40 cents a gallon. Fuel Organization providing information on diesel vegetable oil conversion systems. No date given. As of 2000, the United States will produce in excess of 11 billion liters of waste vegetable oil annually. Waste vegetable oil has a market value approximately 40 cents a gallon, enough to make collection economically viable. If all 11 billion liters of waste vegetable oil could be collected and used to replace the energetically equivalent amount of petroleum, 1% of U.S. oil consumption could be offset, and that could fuel half of the entire military. Plan would only need to affect the Coast Guard. 52107 Energy Bulletin. In 2006, U.S. military in 2006 oil consumption went down to 117 million barrels, or 320,000 barrels per day, despite increased activity in Iraq and Afghanistan. This corresponds to almost 2% of total U.S. oil consumption, and cooking oil is vastly superior to diesel. Renewable Energy Magazine, April 2009. The study deals with the diesel engine used to waste cooking and biodiesel fuel. The experimental results reveal the blends of waste vegetable oil and methyl ester with diesel fuel provide better energy performances and improve emission characteristics. And prioritizing war as the terminal impact will prevent real solutions to war by isolating the anti-war movements and concentrating power in the hands of the elites. Martin, 84, Australian National University. Concerned over the actuality, massive bus suffering, and millions of deaths resulting from poverty and exploitation could justifiably take precedence over possibilities to avoid death toll for nuclear war. To give precedence to nuclear wars and issues to assume nuclear war can be overcome in isolation from changes in major social institutions. If wars deeply benefit our structure to track around war that making common cause that the social movements will not be successful politically. This main thing anti-war movement is to link its strategy and practice with other movements. A focus on nuclear extinction also encourages us to focus on appealing to elites as the means to stop nuclear war. I believe elites has no chance of success. Anti-war activists should become much more critical of the assumptions underlying extinction politics and their impact framework assumes a world where the problem of war is being addressed in the status quo. This ignores the structural balance going on now, which masks the militarism that produces the problem. Chris Cuomo, the University of Cincinnati, 96. Crisis-based ethics and politics are problematic because they distract attention from the need for sustained resistance to the omnipresent system of domination and oppression that so often function is given in most people's lives. The belief that militarism is not the global political concern only regarding armed conflict creates forms of resistance to militarism that really exercises in crisis control. Anti-war resistance is then mobilized when the real violence finally occurs, and at that point it's difficult not to respond in ways that make resistors drop all of their political priorities. Crisis-driven attention to declarations of war might actually keep resistors complacent about this and complicit in the general presence of global militarism. And the struggle against dehumanization must come before any criticism. The loss of value must come before any criticism. The loss of humanity through dehumanization corrupts alternative solvency. Mosquito 05. Fear incarnates are rediscovering the humanizing vocation of the intellectual, and I demonstrate the power of thought to negate, accept the limits, and open the way to a new future. Fear is able to do this because he operates on the thought that one basic assumption that a person's ontological vocation is to be a subject who acts upon and transforms her world, and so doing some of its responsibilities for Christian life individually, collectively. As the world is not static, rather it is a problem to be worked on and solved as the material used by people to create history, a task which they perform as they overcome that which is dehumanizing.